Hello and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. In this video we're going to keep looking at Magic 2010 and we're going to move on and look at Firebomber, which is the red and blue deck. But as with all the M10 decks, it is predominantly red and then with the splash of blue. So yeah, it's fine. So let's start off. So classic rare to start off with. So this is I think this is the foil face. Yep, it's the foil face rare. Is Shivan Dragon, absolute classic red card here. Not seen it for a while actually. I mean, it has been in core sets previously, but I don't think it was the rare in any ones we've looked at. I really can't remember all the old precons I've looked into. All starting to blur together now. Anyway, it's here now. It's the foil face rare. It's here, and we can all be happy about that. So 4 and 2 red, 5/5 flyer, and 1 red gets +1/+0 turn 10. Yep, absolute classic. Love Shivan Dragon. I think even by today's standards, I think it's all right. It's not that flashy, but I think it's well costed. 5/5 flyer for 6, and with fire breathing, and it just gets the job done, and it's fine. Yeah, we can all agree that Shivan Dragon is an absolute classic. I don't know if these days if it's still rare worthy though. I wonder if it could be downshifted to uncommon. I don't know. Like Sarah Angel was. Maybe, I don't know. The other thing about Shivan Dragon, and I don't feel like Shivan Dragon's been in a deck, because I would have mentioned this before, I think. So, around this time, actually, that M10 came out, there was the first From the Vault set, which was From the Vault Dragons, and which I bought because it was fairly cheap at the time. And I really wish I hadn't opened it at all, because I could have kept it sealed and kept its value. I think I've opened it and everything in that deck has been used in some way, so it's not in good condition. But in that From the Vault Dragons, there was Shivan Dragon, but with new artwork of it kind of I can't remember who did the art, but yeah, it was like a really red sort of spiky artwork, and it was like swooping over a volcano kind of thing, and it was really cool art, and like they've never used it again. It's just in that one time, and it's such a shame because I think that art is really good for Shivan Dragon, so I would really like to see it reprinted using that art, but I'm not sure it would get reprinted because I don't know if it feels a little, I say, underwhelmed by today's standards. I know it's sometimes used in like the free welcome decks, but yeah, I don't know. Just would like to see Shivan Dragon with that art again. Anyway, talking too much about Shivan Dragon. It's great. It's classic. Move on. So we also have Dragon Whelp. So 2 cards and 2 red. 2/3 flyer. It has fire breathing, but it has limited fire breathing because if you use its fire breathing ability more than 4 times in a turn, it gets sacrificed, which is it's fine, I suppose. It's still a 2/3 flyer for 4 in red, when red doesn't really get flyers that often. So this is okay, I guess, but I really wish this had just been, instead of Dragon Whelp, which is fine. I mean, like, it's a really classic callback to like Alpha and Beta and stuff, because Dragon Whelp and Shivan Dragon were both in like the first set. This could have been Furnace Whelp from Mirrodin, which is it's 2 cards and 2 red. It's a 2/2 flyer, but it has unlimited fire breathing, and I think that would have been overall a better card for the set rather than Dragon Whelp. So that's I don't know. We also have a Fiery Hellhound, 1 cards and 2 red for a 2/2, and it just has normal fire breathing. So he's definitely downgrade in terms of fire breathing, and like sort of how the efficiency for their cost essentially. Also as well, it's a 2-color deck, so you're not necessarily going to have as much red mana as you would maybe like to have for these abilities, but they're all fine. They're all doing their job just fine. We have a Goblin Artillery, 1 colours and 2 red for a 1/3. You can tap it. It does 2 damage to target creature or player and 3 damage to you. So, yeah, sure. I think this is a functional reprint of Orcish Artillery. I mean, doing 2 damage to a creature or player is fine. The 3 damage to you is not so ideal. But if you found a way to give it lifelink, then you're laughing. Actually, a friend of mine way back in the day built a deck around like all the kind of the Orcish Artillery kind of cards like this, because there were a few. There was Orcish Artillery, Orcish Cannoneers, something like that, and Goblin Artillery, stuff like that. So all these kind of kind of efficiently costed red creatures that tapped to do damage to you and to something else, and he just made it red-white, and found a way to give them all lifelink, and yeah, he had it was super janky, but he had a lot of fun with it. We also have a single Prodigal Pyromancer. Yep, 2 and a red for a 1/1. Taps do 1 damage to anything. Yep, perfectly fine, perfectly fine. A single Wall of Fire, 1 cast and 2 red for a 0/5 defender, and it has fire breathing as well. So this is okay as a wall. This is fine. Yeah, perfectly fine. A single Berserkers of Blood Ridge, so 4 and 1 red for a 4/4. Has to attack every turn if able. Which is, I mean, I guess that ability is fine on a 4/4. It's fairly chunky, but yeah, I don't like this effect of attacking every turn. I think being unable to block is a better, is better than this, because at least that gives you a choice whether you attack with it. Whereas this you have to, and like you're kind of taking choice away from a player, which doesn't feel great. And yeah, the fact, still, it's only just like a 4/4 for 5. It's not like doing anything else. It's not like got first strike or trample or anything like that. It's just a 4/4. So I'm not really sure it really needed this drawback, I guess, or I don't know. But yeah, I suppose it's okay. It's a kind of janky core set card. It's fine. 2 lightning elementals with the great Kev Walker out here. 3 and 1 red for a 4/1 with haste. Yep, perfectly fine. Just play it, swing with it. It's probably going to die, but see it as it's a roundabout way of doing 4 damage to a creature or player before dying, I suppose. Single Raging Goblin, just 1 red for a 1/1 with haste. Yep. Classic Raging Goblin. I think this is the last time it's printed in a core set. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like we don't see it again for a while after this. Anyway, single Canyon Minotaur. This is just Hill Giant basically, but it's a Minotaur instead. Just 4 mana for a 3/3. Yep, fine. And a single Goblin Piker. It's just 2 mana for a 2/1 with no abilities. Yep, fine. Just boring. A lot of boring vanillas actually in this deck. Yeah. Single Earthquake, so this is the other rare of the deck. X and a red. Does X damage to each creature without flying in each player. Yeah, sure, it's just a big burn spell, hits everything. Another kind of classic red spell to have in here. Yeah, it's okay. This makes it then, I think, the only core set deck with the 2 rares are reprints. They're not brand new cards like I think all the others are. If I can think, yes, yeah, because the green one has Colonian Behemoth as a rare. So yeah, this is the only M10 Precon that where the rares aren't brand new cards, which is actually kind of weird. And I think that's why it doesn't sit well with me. I still think it's basically fine, but this one is spoiler. This one is probably my least favorite out of the M10 ones. Just because like the card selection I think is a bit iffy, honestly. I'm kind of doing my summary too early here. We have a single Fireball. It's X and a red. Does X damage divided evenly, rounded down amongst any number of target creature players, and it costs 1 more to cast for every target beyond the first. So this got reprinted in Dark Steel, and I think I said it there. Like I've never seen the appeal of Fireball. Because for its most efficient, it has to you just target one thing and then it's basically just blaze. For it to start affecting more than one thing, you have to spend like so much mana to make it worthwhile. Because like say you want to do just like I don't know 1 damage to like 3 creatures, you've got to spend you got to do 5 mana to do that, and I don't know. It's just I suppose the flexibility is the thing. Like you've got the option of doing it, but I don't know. I've just never liked Fireball. Just yeah, just not impressed with it really. I know it's a classic red burn spell, but I've never thought it was that great. And then a single Lava Axe just does 5 damage to target player for 5 mana. Yep, functional, straightforward. Single Pyroclasm, 2 mana to do 2 damage to every creature. Yep, fine. Just kind of sweeps the board of all the small stuff. Yeah, perfectly fine. 2 lightning bolts. This is the money though here. So 1 red to do 3 damage to anything, instant speed. It's hard to be more efficient than lightning bolt, and this was such a big draw for M10 that like, yep, they're reprinting Lightning Bolt, and yeah, people got really happy about that. There's a lot of really like actually alpha, beta, era cards in this deck. Actually, Lightning Bolt, Shivan Dragon, Dragon Whelp, Earthquake. It's like it really is like playing old school red Magic, I suppose. 2 seismic strikes, 2 colours and a red. Does damage to target creature equal to the number of mountains you control. This is okay. It scales up quite nicely, I think. You probably want this to doing. I mean, when you compare it to Lightning Bolt, you probably want this doing at least 5 to make it feel like you're getting a good deal for it. Otherwise, I feel like you're overpaying a little bit for it. Yeah, the problem is it's in a 2-color deck, so yeah, you're not necessarily going to be playing a mountain every turn. You might be playing an island sometimes, but you know that's the deck building push to for a new player to be like, oh, I'll just build a red deck then, I suppose. And then the splash of blue is divination to draw 2 cards, which is fine. You're kind of like you got a lot of burn spells here, so this is a way of drawing more fuel. A single negate to counter non-creature spells. Yep, perfectly fine. And a single sleep, which in this deck I think is fine because I don't think you. Well, I suppose you got like the Raging Goblin, Lightning Element, and stuff like this. This is a way of getting blockers out of the way and also stopping, counterattacks, I suppose, because you haven't got too many creatures to like block with. So this would be good to lock an opponent out for a couple of turns. Yeah, it taps all their creatures and then they don't untap during the next untap step. So yeah, pretty swingy, honestly. Then a single Terramorph Expanse, 5 islands, 12 mountains. Yep. So what could have been? As I said, the card selection here is actually kind of weird, which is making me realise that red kind of had like a weird card pool in M10. Spark Mage Apprentice, I thought, maybe in here. It's just 2 mana for a 1/1. When it comes in, does 1 damage to a creature or player, which is a little underwhelming, but it's okay, I suppose. Act of Treason, definitely should have had an Act of Treason in here. 2 and a red, gain control of target creature in turn, untap it, and it gains haste in turn. So this is, it's technically a functional reprint of Threaten. But yeah, this is now the face of all these red kind of temporary control effects. It was originally uncommon, and now it's common. So it's really been, I guess at the time, they thought the effect was kind of strong. But yeah, Act of Treason is kind of like the original effect. But yeah, just having one of these in here I think would have been okay. Inferno Elemental is this really fun card, I think. 4 and 2 red for a 4/4. Whenever it blocks or becomes blocked, it does 3 damage to that creature. So yeah, like nothing really wants to block this and eat 3 damage, and then the 4 from Inferno Elemental. So yeah, I think it's pretty fun, and it's only been printed in M10, which is a shame because I think it's a pretty fun card. I'd like to see it kind of show up again. And then I think we could have had Goblin Chieftain maybe as an alternate rare, maybe instead of, well, Shivan Dragon is cool, maybe instead of Earthquake. So Goblin Chieftain, 1 and 2 red, 2/2 haste. Your other goblins have +1/+1, have haste. You don't have a lot of goblin creatures maybe in the deck. You got the Goblin Artillery, you got the Raging Goblin, Goblin Piker. Not that many goblins, but you could have. Oh no, that's going to be the next card apparently. Magma Phoenix. We'll apparently talk about that one first. This could have been instead of Shivan Dragon maybe. So 3 and 2 red, 3/3 flyer. When it dies, it does 3 damage to every creature and every player, and then you can pay 3 and 2 red to get it back into your hand. So I think this could have been maybe instead of Shivan Dragon or maybe instead of Earthquake, because it's kind of doing the same thing that Earthquake does, which is do a bunch of damage to everyone. So going back to the goblins, what we could have had Siege Gang Commander instead of Goblin Chieftain, maybe. Siege Gang Commander was like a really nice reprint to see in M10. 3 and 2 red for a 2/2. When it comes to play, you make 3 goblin creature tokens and you can pay 1 and a red, sacrifice a goblin to do 2 damage to target creature player. Super good card. Would have really liked to see this. It was nice actually this was in the same set as Captain of the Watch, because they're kind of like a nice mirrored pair, I suppose. But yeah, I think any of these would have been fine as an alternate rare. Either taking out Shivan Dragon or the Earthquake. So in summary, yeah, like I sort of gave the game away a bit early, but yeah, this is kind of my least favorite of the M10 decks. I think it's still fine, like as a teaching tool, like for a new player, they'd pick up and be like, oh, red likes shooting people with spells. I guess that's fine. But I don't know, like I think the card selection is just a little iffy. Maybe, and I don't know how much that is down to maybe like M10's card pool of red cards being maybe a little underwhelming compared to like the other colours we've seen, but it's still basically okay. It's not terrible, it's not completely awful. It's just kind of not as good as the other ones in my opinion. But that's my thoughts on the deck after looking at it. If you got any thoughts, opinions, stories, comments about this deck, put a comment below. Always like reading those. But I'll be back next time to look at the last M10 core set intro pack. But until then, thanks for watching and listening. Have a good day.